September 1966. One opening monologue.
Space. The final frontier.
One unforgettable theme tune. September 2016. TrekZone.org will celebrate 50 years since the premiere. In a big way.
Welcome to the Trek Zone Spotlight from the brand new TrekZone.org radio studio. Matt Miller with you, and we're going to be doing interviews just like before with as many sci-fi alumni as possible. Today's guest character was the tactical officer on the Enterprise NX-01. Of course, that was Lieutenant Malcolm Reed.
Actually, I wasn't the tactical officer, I was the armory officer.
Oh, well, excuse me, I do apologise.
Nah,
So he
you
was
don't
the
often
armory
get
officer.
a cast member from the shows being as anal about the stuff as the fans are. But yeah, I was the
Well,
armory
look,
officer.
You've got to get that credit right. That's the first thing that you've got to do, and that's totally understandable. Dominic, of course, his real name is Dominic Keating. Thanks so much for joining me, mate, from
My
Perth.
pleasure. Good to be here.
Now, joining the Star Trek franchise, what was that like for you?
Oh, heavens. You know, just a dream come true, really. I'd been in LA about 7 years and had some success. I hadn't had to wait any tables, thank goodness. But getting that gig was, you know, it all kind of worked out. And friends asked me at the time, you know, were you really excited about joining the cast? I said, you know what, I was just relieved that it did work out. But I did the first, here's a little known fact, I did the first shot of our show, and as I took, it was on the bridge, and as I took that first step up onto the bridge to do the shot, I have to say I did pinch myself and go, you know, here we go, lift off. You know, it's an
It would be
iconic
absolutely
show.
surreal.
It was surreal, and I also had the pleasure and the honor of doing the last shot of the show. It's one of those odd anomalies of having done that those 4 years and 100 episodes. So
That's amazing. Now, I believe that, just tracking back a little bit, I believe that you did audition for a guest role on Voyager. Is
you've
that
done
right?
some homework. Yeah, I did.
Lots of homework, days in advance.
I did. I went up for, and I can't remember what the character's name was, but he was the prince of some sort of nomadic tribe, you know, space tribe. And the audition went so swimmingly well. I remember calling my manager going, you know, we're going to do Star Trek next week, for sure. And then I never heard from them again. And, you know, I was like, God, what have you got to do to get a job in this town? And then some 18 months later, the same manager, I still had JP, still my guy, and he rang me and he said, I just got a call from Ron Surma, who's the casting director on Star Trek, and they think they have something for you. And I was like, really? Okay. And then right at the end of the first season, we were shooting Shuttle Pod 1, and they were also concurrently shooting Nemesis, the next-gen movie next door, on the stages next door to where we were shooting Enterprise. And Rick Berman was around, and he never came to set. And anyway, he was with Patrick Stewart, and he was showing the shooting of our show, and it was this two-hander, as you know, that Shuttle Pod 1 piece, and they were very proud of it. And in an aside to me, in between setups, he said to me, he said, Dominic, you know, I remembered you so well from that Voyager audition, and I had your photograph on my desk for like 18 months, and I was like, what? Yeah, have you any idea what those 18 months were like, Mr. Berman? And, but hey, God bless, the rest is history, yeah.
I'm going to take you back a little bit now as part of this homework that I have done, back to the 1980s, when I believe just after you graduated, you appeared and starred in some television commercials. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed, I did. I call the flat I bought on the strength of those wash and go out of respect. I was the Vidal Sassoon boy for many years in America.
Now, I believe that your pronunciation of Saloon was
Yes, I was
earned
spoofed.
you a special spot on
I
Saturday
think it
Night
was
Live.
Dana
Is that
Carvey,
right?
wasn't it? Dana Carvey spoofed me on Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Yes.
Here at the salon.
I
I
was
can
still
still remember some of the copy. Here at the salon, we work a lot of hair and use a lot of product, and this new spray-on gel is absolutely incredible. It's a gel that sprays, so forget the mess. That's why Dee's hair loves it.
30 years on, you're still selling the product.
God
I love
bless,
it.
man. I tell you, if you can YouTube that, and I tell you, I look at that kid, man. I look like I was 12. This wizened old fellow that sits in front of you today. But yeah, God bless. I mean, it was a life-changing, gig getting that. It was back in the day when my agent in London, they wanted to just pay me regular rates and whatever, and I was also in a sitcom in England called Desmond's, and I was playing a hairdresser. I played a lot of hairdressers back then. I'd gone to the Edinburgh Festival with a play called Screamers with Tim Spall, and it was me and Tim in basically a two-hander, and we were the hit show there in about 80... God, this is going to date me. 88, 89. You could not get a ticket to see this. We were the hit show. We won all the awards. So I'd done that. Out of that came the creator of this sitcom, Desmond's for Channel 4, came up to me in the bar afterwards and went, I think you're great. I've just created a sitcom for Channel 4. You'd be perfect to play this hairdresser guy. It was set in a West Indian sitcom, hairdressers in South London. And I basically played the token honky in the show. And anyway, so I got all this stuff behind me, and Procter & Gamble had just bought Vidal Sassoon, and they wanted to tell the world that they were a global concern and not just some sort of little boutique, hair styling place out of London. And they wanted to pay me regular money, blah, blah, blah. And my agent said, no, let me stop you right there, she said. He's playing a very well-known hairdresser in a very much well-received sitcom here in England, and he's not going to sell himself short. What if Alberto Balsam wanted to come to him, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? They gave me double SAG rates. And they showed that. Oh, my God, man. They showed that commercial for 4 years. I remember this fact, and not to boast, but in the first 10 months of that commercial airing in the States, I made, I think it was like £90,000 in 1988, 89.
So that's like $6 billion
Oh
in
my
today's
God,
money.
man. I couldn't believe these checks that were coming to my doorstep. I mean, it was just crazy. So as I say, I have the house in LA that I call the house that Trek built. And I have the flat in London, which is wash and go out of respect.
Now, one last question. As part of this research, I do believe that you also, I guess you had 2 failed and 1 successful auditions with Star Trek, because I also believe that you auditioned for a role in the 2009 JJ movie. Is that right?
Oh, goodness gosh, you have done your homework. Yeah, God bless them. I went back a couple of times. They liked me to play, the part didn't make it in the end into the final cut, but it was to play Kirk's abusive father when Kirk was a young boy growing up in the farmlands of Iowa. And it ended up just being a voiceover piece in the end. But I went back 2 or 3 times, and they were pretty keen. And then, because it was completely different, it was at Paramount, but it was a completely different casting authority and a different production, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they had a clue that I'd been on a Star Trek show. But at some point in those proceedings, someone must have gone, well, you do know that he was on the Star... And they was like, oh, no, that'll do with that then.
Well, the role ultimately went to Brad William Henke, but in the end, it was overdubbed by Greg Grunberg. So I guess
blimey,
in that
mate.
regard, two people...
Is there
two
nothing
people
you
weren't good
don't know,
enough for that
sir?
role. Well, it helps that I've got a computer sitting next to me with IMDb and a few other web pages open.
I forget the modern age.
I wasn't going to give that one away. All right, Dominic, we're fast running out of time, but I've got, as part of the new Trek Zone Spotlight, I've got a little segment that I've called Fast Questions. It's time for that Fast Questions round. You've got 60 seconds to answer as many questions as you can for
I'm
a shot
27.
at a place on the Trek Zone Spotlight leaderboard.
All right.
It's kind of like a star in a reasonably priced car on
So
that
this
UK
sounds a bit like
motoring
Top
show.
Gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but without cars and without lap times.
Come on, then. Hit me.
So nothing like it at all.
Is this like, am I going to have to know stuff about Star Trek? Because I know nothing.
It's sci-fi in general. Liam and I were discussing it last night, and I think I've come out with
You
some...
were like crickets, mate. I can just
I've
say
got
pass, right?
I've got 20 questions on my piece of paper.
Okay.
I need you to choose the even or the odd-numbered questions, Dominic.
Hey, odd.
Odd questions. All right, Keely, put the timer on. 60 seconds. Here we go. What was your favourite episode of the first season of Star Trek Enterprise?
Shuttlebug one.
What's the best spin-off series of Star Trek?
Spin-off series?
Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or Enterprise?
Oh, right. Enterprise.
Oh, of course. Who was the funniest on your set?
Me.
Best first officer.
Say again?
Best first officer. T'Pol or Chakotay?
Oh gosh, first officer. T'Pol.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, Star Trek. Did you say Star Wars? Oh,
yes.
Oh, you mean, is that a question? Star
Yes.
Trek. I mean, I'll tell you why. One is Star Trek. Star Trek is science fiction, and Star Wars is, the other way around. I was trying to be funny there. Star Wars is science fiction, and Star Trek is science future reality.
Ah, yes. Well done. What? Oh, we're out of time. Oh, there we go. You got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 questions. It's because you went off on that tangent about Star Wars. Dominic, thanks so much for being in the Trek Zone Spotlight. Enjoy Perth. You're there for Oz Comic Con, and people this weekend can come down and meet you and get an autograph.
God bless you, Matt.
Thanks so much, Dominic.
Cheers, brother.
For generations, we've stared at the heavens and wondered how, where, why. Men have landed on the moon, robots on Mars. But in our imaginations, we've traveled further, much further. From a galaxy far, far away to the last best hope for peace. And strange new worlds aboard starships driven by imagination. In 2015, Spiral Media presents the 12th year of Australia's first Star Trek fan site, TrekZone.org.